Hello, everybody, and welcome to Drop In, Drop Out, a show where a mix of 7 gamers come together to talk everything video games. I am Jake Twitchin, and I am the only core member of Drop In, Drop Out on the show tonight. I have commandeered it so that I could have a special conversation with my friend, streamer extraordinaire, Shea _ Noel. Shea, how are you doing tonight?
Howdy. Hello. Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing so well. I'm doing even better now because a little inside baseball here. During the recording of the podcast, this is how we do it live. If you're not following us on twitch.tv/dropindropoutpod or going to dropindropoutpod.com to find us all over the internet, you're making a huge mistake because we have a whole pre-show where we shoot the shit. We look at our cool Final Fantasy cards. We talk about Tamagotchi life. We do a bunch of things that happened before the show. You can go watch that VOD on Twitch if you so desire, if you're listening to this on audio platforms across the world or on YouTube after the fact. However, after the pre-show, we play our little intro and we do that live. And during that time, as a viewer, you can only hear the audio of the music playing. But me, as the host, I get to hear Shea sing along with our intro. You've been caught. You've been caught. She was doing the little. It was very good. I wish we would have captured it, but that's only for me. Maybe you can join the podcast and you can hear it for yourself sometime. But Shea, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate
for having
it.
Me.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you. Yeah, today we are talking about something very near and dear to my heart, and I don't want to just ramble the entire way for this intro, so we have a lot of housekeeping stuff to do, but I want to get you in the conversation as soon as humanly possible, and I want you to tell the people, to your understanding, what we are talking about today.
We're talking about Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, and picking my brain at what I think is happening and trying to have a conversation about that.
Yeah, you just finished Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is your first Final Fantasy game, which is incredible. And Final Fantasy VII is among my favorite games of all time, as is Remake, as is Rebirth. I'm quite well informed on it. And it's tough on the internet to have a good conversation about Final Fantasy VII when you're only partially through what is released for the games, because spoilers run rampant. And spoilers in our circle, which we'll get into a lot, are kind of tough to avoid. So we're taking this opportunity to Sherpa you through this experience so that we can kind of do a little bit of yapping about a game that's near and dear now to your heart, I believe, and is certainly near and dear to mine, before you jump into Rebirth. Very, very exciting. But I must say here at the top of the show that if you are enjoying this, you need to be tuned in and locked in tomorrow and the day after, because on January 30th and January 31st, the big Drop In, Drop Out IRL stream is happening. The entire cast, except for me, are getting together, and they are going to be doing a ton of content. It all kicks off tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. I believe that is how time frames work. Kicking off on Friday night. There will also be a massive stream on Saturday from noon to 9 p.m. No, noon to midnight. It's 12 to 12. It's a 12-hour stream. Fun, festivities, all kinds of things to get involved with. We are doing the Halo 2 Jamboree tomorrow night as well. Download the Master Chief Collection and Halo 2. Make it happen. And then we're doing video game song battle on Saturday night. There'll be all sorts of stuff. There are going to be giveaways. If you go to dropindropoutpod.com, you'll notice there's nothing to see there except for a countdown. We are relaunching the website. By this time tomorrow, you'll know exactly what's on that relaunch. And let me tell you, get those fucking wallets ready. But that's all I have for housekeeping. I appreciate you all joining us. I want to talk about a little bit about structure about tonight's episode, where Shea and I are basically going to talk Final Fantasy as a whole, preconceived notions, and then we're going to run through, like a spoiler cast, the entire plot of Final Fantasy VII Remake. The last thing that I want to say is, if you're here in chat as we start talking about the game, keep things spoiler free. Shea has not played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. She has only played Remake and Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade episode Intermission, the Yuffie DLC. I will be the person that will relay information to her about the original game, because you haven't played that, but only about the opening 5 hours. The only things that I will mention from the original game is stuff that happens through the story that Remake covers. So only the Midgar portion, only thing that I will reference is like, okay, well, in the original game, this is what happens. And that kind of thing. So we'll keep you protected there. And chat, do your best to keep yourself under control so we don't have to moderate you, because we fucking will. We will. Shea, you started Final Fantasy VII Remake maybe 3 weeks ago. Is that about right?
Yeah, first full week of January.
First full week of January. And
Yeah.
how did you end up there? How did you end up playing Final Fantasy finally after your years of not playing it?
It was on sale a few years ago during the summer, and I picked it up. And then I wanted to play Kingdom Hearts. But before Kingdom Hearts, I know there's Final Fantasy characters in that. So to fully understand, then I have to play Final Fantasy and then play Kingdom Hearts. But
Yeah,
it all worked out. It all worked out because it's my first one and it seems like a really good story. Everyone loves it. And yeah, that's why we started with 7.
I'm impressed that Kingdom Hearts was the reason why you started playing Final Fantasy. Usually, Final Fantasy is the gateway drug into Kingdom Hearts. People want to play Final Fantasy, and then they're like, oh, well, there's more Final Fantasy to enjoy here. So now all you need to do to catch up is watch every single Disney movie, play 16 Final Fantasies, 40 spin-offs, and then you're ready for Kingdom Hearts. Get excited. Sora, soon. Tell me about what you knew about the Final Fantasy series, because here's the thing. I want to get a little bit of, let's set the table a little bit about your history with video games, because you weren't much of like an RPG girl prior to streaming. Well, maybe I'm lying, because you were a Skyrim shorty, I believe.
Liar!
Yeah. Give us your gaming history in games that like would have led you to this point, things that you've enjoyed prior to Final Fantasy.
Definitely, well, starting The Hobbit,
The
2003
Hobbit.
or 4 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Skyrim. When I would go to the store and see Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy on the display and be like, "Oh, can I have that for my DS or whatever?" No. So I never got to play them, but you know, RPGs are really up my alley always. So I really like narrative games, it seems. So
Yeah. And listen, I know that you're going to be like, oh shit, he's asking about this. But low key, credit where credit is due. Middle of last year, a little game came out that probably put you on the path, and other people on the path, to experiencing Final Fantasy for the first time. And you jumped into Expedition 33 and had a positive experience, correct?
I was not expecting you to bring that up. Yeah.
For sure. I think it's
that was a
important to
very
notice.
good game. Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt. Do
Yeah.
you think if you hadn't played Expedition 33, you would be playing Final Fantasy right now?
Probably. Because Final Fantasy Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't turn-based, and Expedition was turn-based, and that was the game that I like really opened up to play a turn-based game, so I'm more action-y combat instead. So that's why I like Remake so much.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, well, no, I'm not going to ask you that question, because if you answer it at the beginning of the podcast, it's all about Final Fantasy VII, and the answer is I like Expedition 33 more. It's way less interesting. So we'll ask that at the end if you like Final Fantasy VII Remake
Your
or Expedition
game.
33 more. Yeah. Expedition 33, not a JRPG. I will not allow this. It's an FRPG. It's a FRPG, I believe. Yes.
Jarpej.
Lard book. So Final Fantasy, prior to this, you had seen it around, you knew it was happening, and then I would ask you why this one, but truth be told, the answer is probably because I pushed it upon you. Is that about it? I do feel strongly that it's a good jumping in point, and I feel even better now that you probably agree because you had a good first experience, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. So you start Final Fantasy. How immediately are you smitten with it? Like, does the first couple hours, if I recall correctly, a little bit rough for you? You had a boss. The Scorpion boss almost sent you, I believe.
Well, okay, he was really tanky, but also a mech. But I think it's the cutscenes that really just do it for me. They orchestrate and choreograph the cutscenes so well, and with the music too, like it invokes such emotion to come out of you. I don't know. Not even just like exploring everything. I like walking around, yeah, but it's the cutscenes that you're really just locked in for.
For sure.
Mhm.
It's very jarring. I think that with the original Final Fantasy VII, that boss fight against the Scorpion in Chapter 1, and we'll start our walkthrough of the game right now. Start with Chapter 1, and there's a lot to spend on Chapter 1 too, because we have to talk about so many characters, which we'll profile obviously. But that initial boss fight, the Guard Scorpion, I think is the name, is a boss that's meant to teach lessons. So in the initial version of the game, you play against it. It's significantly more turn-based. It's still active battle, but essentially it has a mechanic where when the Scorpion raises its tail, it will counterattack you. So the vast majority of people that hopped into Final Fantasy VII for the first time got their absolute ass handed to them just by like smashing attack on the Guard Scorpion and then getting KO'd for their party. So having to retry a couple times, I feel like they tried to keep that tradition. So don't feel bad about your Guard Scorpion experience. The game opens up with, to me, possibly the best opening cutscene of all time. And I don't mean the original Final Fantasy VII. I mean Final Fantasy VII Remake's interpretation of the Final Fantasy VII opening cutscene. Did that resonate with you heavily? With the like theme playing and seeing Aerith over there in front of the Loveless Theater and whatnot.
Yeah, that was cool. She was the first person that we ever saw in that game. So, and it opened with a bird. And the DLC ended with a bird, so it's some kind of metaphorical thing right there.
It was such an insightful. If you guys don't know, Shea is known to many as Memory Girl, really good at recalling things and remembering shit. And as someone who's played these games a ton, and I've already played Intergrade probably 3 times myself, I had no idea. I never made that fucking connection until I watched you play the end of Intergrade. And you were like, immediately, you're like, oh my God, it ends the same way that the game begins. It's a very good book.
I think it's a different bird, though. I think the end is like an eagle and the beginning is maybe a raven or something.
Yeah, that might be right. But yeah, I love that opening cutscene. Really, really strong. Sets the vibe for like what is a really strange world. Like in some ways it feels like a old timeline, and in other ways it's very futuristic. It's almost kind of like steampunky. And for the thing that always gets me is the way that the like you do like the flyby and you get all these like atmospheric shots of like the environment and the streets of Midgar and whatnot, and then it starts to intersperse with those hard cuts of the train until it automatically just goes all the way over to the train stops. There's some shenanigans that transpire, and then our boy does the illest intro ever, the backflip onto the
like
scene.
Flips off. Yeah.
So sick. Talk to me about Cloud. Talk to me about Cloud Strife, a character who prior to this you must have known like his name and everything, right? Like you knew who Cloud was from Final Fantasy VII.
I knew who Cloud was by face. That's it. And like what he wears. Correct.
Great stuff. What do you think about him now that you are 1 game into Final Fantasy VII?
He's a very traumatized boy. It comes through because he's so like quiet and reserved, I guess, but I don't know. He doesn't really tell much about himself. I don't think we know anything about his backstory other than like he went to, or I don't know anything about his backstory other than that he went to like soldier school or whatever, and then his mom was there, and you know.
And maybe first
grew
class.
up. Yeah, maybe grew up with Tifa. I think they were in the same town.
Yeah, there's that's confirmed in the flashbacks of 7 Remake for sure. I think in Final Fantasy 7 Original as well. But you have the classic scene at the water tower, the Promise, I think is probably what people would refer to that as, which is done very tastefully. We'll just talk about it now a little bit out of order.
That was so cute, yeah.
That flashback scene, the 2 of them as kids, and Cloud has his little fucking ponytail. Adorable. And I love Cloud's realization of he's clearly dealing with some kind of mental issues in Final Fantasy VII. He's having a lot of fucking like flashes and whatnot. He's seeing things that aren't there. He's flashing back to memories that he is like, you know, unsure of or hadn't remembered them prior, and then it comes back to him.
Mhm.
And I think that one in particular is really, really sweet. The way that he has moments of like, I guess moments of him being like thoughtful. It comes back to him a little bit where he's like, oh man, that's right. I did say that thing to Tifa. And he
Yeah.
has that,
I gotta
that
keep that
further
promise.
recollection. Yeah. Of
Yeah.
like, it's her saying at the bar, she's like, I feel trapped. And he's like, I promised her that if she ever needed saving, I would be around, which is very, very sweet. But Cloud in that opening cutscene is not the only person we meet. We meet 3 other members of Avalanche. Let's go Barrett first because he's a really fucking big character.
I think you mispronounced his name.
Yeah, true. Tell me what you think happened to Barrett's arm. Why does he have a gun arm?
Ooh, why does he have a gun arm? Ugh. This was in a cutscene, or I remember saying something about it. I think he did something. He made a deal with someone about Mako, I think, and maybe got his arm cut off in return for that. And he's like, oh man, now I don't have an arm. So I think someone screwed him over.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
With Mako.
I wonder if we'll find out. Very
Yeah.
good. Chat has some good suggestions here. Some think that he ate it for more muscle, and others think he possibly
Fair.
jorked it too hard. Very fair options.
Okay, yeah.
Who could tell? But what do you think? What do you think of Barrett in general?
I think he's very sweet. He has, outwardly looking at him, he is very scary because he's like a big muscular man. But once he mentions Marlene, he's like, oh, my Marlene. And you're like, who the heck is Marlene? And then you get back and then you see little girl Marlene and he's like, oh, my Marlene, she's so good. Like,
yeah, our little baby child, Marlene.
He's a teddy bear.
Yeah, it's very, very sweet. I love that part of it. It is exactly like you said, that kind of like, can you imagine this big, terrifying man with the gun arm and like only wearing a vest with his like fucking shirt off, and then all he cares about
little Marlene.
is little Marlene, taking care of her, making the world a better place for her, and truly not just his. I think Barrett's very cool because his little like heart of gold type situation is not just thoughtfulness for Marlene, but he cares. He might be the most caring person about people in the entire Final Fantasy VII universe or game, or at least this one so far.
Yeah, he doesn't let it on much, but
no, but he cares, deeply about everybody in Avalanche, and he cares about the people in Sector 7 in a very big way, and he cares about the people of Midgar in general and the people of the world. Gaia, by the way, did you know that was the name of the entire continent?
That makes sense. That's
world?
the Titan, I guess.
Yeah, right. But he's so worried about like Mako poisoning the earth and what it's doing to the world. The planet's dying, you can't hear it scream.
Dead. The juice.
Yeah,
it's like oil.
Exactly. And then we get the other members of Avalanche, which are so interesting to me because these characters in the original game are not very fleshed out. You having your first experience with Final Fantasy VII Remake is excellent because you get your first impression of these characters are that they're a way bigger deal than they were in the initial game, and it is a change for the better. We get Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse. Rank them.
Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse.
This is hard to do.
Wedge,
this is picking a child.
Wedge number 1 because he has little guys.
Yeah.
I really like Jesse, but I really don't think they did her so well by making her just fawn over Cloud the whole time. So I'll have to go second for Biggs and third for Jesse. Because also Biggs has a very interesting backstory with like the Sector 5 orphanage. And I want to know more about that. So,
the Sector 5 stuff, and forgive me, chat and listeners, for let us jump around. You know, we'll use the chapters as a guideline, but when something comes up and it makes sense to dig into it, we'll go out of order. I love what you just mentioned about Biggs, because that is such a fun recap. He mentions it in passing. He says something about the like orphanage in Sector 5 or something like that, right?
Yeah, when you find him in like chapter 12 or something, he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you should go back." And Cloud's like, "No, you gotta do that. I don't like children."
For sure. It's very, very good. I love that little connection there where I guess it's kind of implied that he might have grown up in Sector 5 and then moved to Sector 7.
Yeah, something
but
like that.
the shit that's going on at that little fucking school or whatever, the orphanage, is wild. They got to talk to the employees over there. Yeah, the bee girl. I forgot her name.
Miss Folia.
Miss Folia. That is so funny that she works there, and then you bump into her at the
my
Honeybee Inn, and
God.
she's like, "Please don't tell anybody about this."
She didn't even help us with anything. I thought she was gonna be like a way bigger character.
I know, yeah. But it's so funny to give like that much depth to just a random ass character. And nobody does it. Nobody does it like Final Fantasy. Very, very impressive. So you're going Wedge, then Biggs, then Jesse. Love Wedge. Love the little guys. Jesse, for me, is such a sweet character too. I love what she puts Cloud in like his first weird positions. Cloud is a man who gets put in many strange positions throughout that video game, but she's the first person to like push his buttons a little bit, and like I feel like it's an endearing way. I feel like Jessie is an archetype of like a person that I know in real life, and she's well written to the point of like she's a little bit obnoxious, but the way that she's interacting with this guy who's a little shy and a little weird is somewhat endearing to me. I think it's pretty well put together. So love the Avalanche Squad. They go on the bombing mission. Yeah, for sure. Go on the bombing mission. They ask you a pointless question of how long you think it's going to take to escape. 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Which did you choose?
Oh, I chose both of them. First time I chose 30. Then I got mad at the boss, and then I chose 20 for the second time, and I didn't actually realize it was going to be a countdown.
Yeah, it is a countdown, but I think it's pretty.
It's a long
easy
time. Yeah, you're never going to use 30 minutes of that time.
Yeah, exactly.
And
bombing mission, Scorpion boss fight. We've done that. Bomb goes off. It's way bigger of an explosion than expected. We head on to the streets of Midgar, and we truly get the best view of like the only view really of Midgar that's not either the Sector 5 or the Sector 7 slums or like the Shinra building, basically, right? Outside of like Wall Market. But very standard city, and I love the first meeting with Aerith right there. We walk out and we hear the flower girl actually at that point.
The flower peddler.
Flower peddler, very good.
Flower peddler. Yes. Oh my God.
So good. I love that little chance interaction, and it's our first glimpse not only of Aerith but also the Arbiters of Fate.
Yeah.
The Arbiters of Fate. What do you think about all of that? And I think it's worth noting that Shea and I did talk before this podcast and after she completed Remake a little bit about the Arbiters of Fate. But talk to me about that plot device, if you will, or those.
Well, I said this during stream as well. I think they're just hidden walls, like invisible walls.
Sure.
So they're keeping Fate on course, so you can't like veer off the path. And that's also what. Yeah, they're also Dementors.
They are exactly so Dementors. Oh my God.
And that's what Aerith kind of confirmed when we met her in like, I don't know, chapter 15 at the beginning. She was like, yeah, to keep Fate keeping its course or something.
Yeah. Those Arbiters of Fate end up being what is maybe the most important part of Final Fantasy VII's like big ending revelation. This is a game, obviously, I mean, we all know the inside baseball lore here of like Final Fantasy VII Remake is a quote unquote remake of like the first third of the original Final Fantasy VII. So you're playing through a game that initially had no ending. And it's truly not even the first third. Final Fantasy VII is like a 40 to 50 hour, 30 to 50 hour game. If you don't know where you're going, it's a 100-hour game easily.
Right.
But Midgar is like 6 hours if you stretch it out. Like this is like the first tenth of the game. Truth be told. But to give you a little bit of insight to like the ending of Final Fantasy VII, I thought it was important to kind of like explain some of the stuff that you wouldn't have quite understood if you weren't privy to the original game. And it's not spoilery stuff or anything like that. It's stuff that you just is revealed to you at the end of this video game, but wouldn't make sense if you didn't have that context. So we'll get to that at the end for sure. So we meet Aerith and we get back to also, Shea, your memory is so much better than mine. If you remember something or there's something that you want to interject and you're like, oh, my favorite part of this chapter, please take it away. Chapter 3, Home Sweet Slum. We get to Sector 7. Cozy vibes.
Peak.
Cozy vibes.
Very good.
Yeah. You spent some time in there. This is our first area where we can do side quests, right?
Yeah, I think they give you 3 or so. 3
side quests sounds right. I think there's 4 chapters that have side quests, and it's like 3, 3, 6, and then like 20 or something like that. Did you do the side quests in Sector 7?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think?
I think there was one of them that was tough, or that might have been Sector 5. No. There was one in Sector 7 where you're just running around that factory trying to look for something, which is the same as in the DLC. You're running around the factory trying to look for something.
Yep.
And that one was tough. That one was a little hard.
Yeah, you're fighting those like scorpion-looking creatures, and every turn looks the same. Yeah, it's not great.
Yes.
I do like that. Yeah, I do like that walk around the city with Tifa as well, which isn't a side quest; it's still main story. But to kind of get you situated before she puts you up in like the motel, and you meet, is it Marl? Is that
Marco Polo? Oh yeah, Marl.
Marco as well.
Marl,
yeah, Marl, the crazy hair, and she's like she's a feisty old woman, and I think she's really fucking fun. She's well written, you know.
Yes, she kind of whacks Cloud into shape.
Yeah, for sure. And she's got the like she's like the pseudo like parent figure for Tifa in some ways there. She's very much like looking out for her and for Avalanche, and Marl pops up multiple times through like the crisis in Sector 7 as well, with kind of being like the person that's guiding people during helping out with Betty, who has the worst dad in the fucking world. And then we meet Marco, and I think it's that very first night that there's that little scene where Cloud hears some shenanigans in that room, I believe.
Yeah, he like hears something, and then he walks up to the door and he knocks on the door or something, and Marco comes out and he like pulls the sword out. Whoa, relax. I think Tifa comes out and is saying relax, but
yeah. One of my favorite little character moments, like a little goofy thing that like another game would never do this, but Final Fantasy VII for some reason has these weird little like character details of like Cloud, great at what he does, a little fucking tapped in the head, and also a little and also just a little bit like awkward and not perfect, not great. And he does this thing where he gets like spooked by Marco, and he pulls out his sword and he smashes it off the fucking door frame, and he kind of like the recoil gets him, and then and then Tifa comes and saves the day. But a very cool thing. Do you know about the Final Fantasy VII door?
The door,
yeah.
Isn't that the door that he hit his sword on?
I don't know if it's that one or if it's the door to like Tifa's apartment or Cloud's apartment, but that was like the biggest fucking controversy when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. For some reason, it's one of those really like internet specific things. You have to look it up. Look up Final Fantasy VII door real quick while I tell you about it. It's so funny. It is basically a extremely low poly door. Like it's like a door.png was the image that was used for the door on that apartment building, and people clowned it so hard. And when Intergrade came out, it was like one of the big things that they changed really heavily was like we upgraded the door texture. Very funny. Ridiculous thing.
I see it.
Yeah, ridiculous thing to really care about, but I can't help but think about it every time I'm in that like little apartment building.
That's insane.
Yeah, Sector 7, very cool, somewhat small. You start collecting your music once you're there as well from your jukeboxes. You collected all the music in this game, is that right?
I did, yeah.
You got a favorite track that jumps out at you?
No.
Yeah, that's fine. I feel like we have to have like a different podcast sometime, or like a supplemental like messy pod or something, where you come back and we just listen to every single song in the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack and compare it to like the old songs, because some of those renditions that they do of like old tracks are so impressive, and there's multiple versions of them. Very, very strong stuff. Anything else about Sector 7 or that chapter you can think of worth noting? I don't think
the
much.
Dog that never sits down.
That's right. That's right.
The dog that never sits down until the DLC.
True. I guess, I mean, we could talk about, I really like the conversation. We meet Tifa. Well, we have to hit that. Talk to me about Tifa. Tifa is like, okay, well, prior to this playthrough, you must have known about Tifa because you orbit my stream.
Where Tifa?
Where Tifa? Yeah, that comes up quite a bit. That comes up quite a bit. Tifa mascot soon. Get excited. But tell me what you knew about Tifa. What do you think about Tifa post Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I think she's the most normal person in that game. Like she is very caring and doesn't want to hurt anyone and doesn't want to blow things up and doesn't want to kill people while blowing things up, you know. She does it for the sake of the people she's with. Like Garrett wants to blow people up. Cloud wants to get money. She also just whacks Cloud into shape too. Like, oh man, give me money. And Tifa's like, bro, come on. Like, you can't do that. You know?
Yes.
So
there are multiple times where where Tifa, like, she kind of like takes that extra second to be like, Cloud, are you good? Like, she's like constantly looking out for him because obviously she knows him well, but something is fucked up. Also worth noting, can you list off some nicknames? You said Garrett for sure. I was gonna say, can you list off the nicknames you have for Barrett, because people are gonna listen to this and be like, this girl thinks her name is fucking Garrett, but you called him like Garrett, Parrot,
Parrot.
Yep.
Could be Taro. That's a new one.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. There's also Tofu, Tupa, or Tifa.
Yeah. Tufa, Threefa. You know? Very good. One of my favorite things is, and tell me if you had this idea in your head of like, at face value, Tifa and Aerith fill archetypes, where Tifa is like kind of like the brute fighter, right? You know, she's dressed for the occasion, action packed, and you would expect her to have that sort of personality. And Aerith is the white mage, like a very standard, like she is your healer, she is your spellcaster, and you would expect her to have that kind of soft personality. When you came into the game, did you have any ideas about their personalities? What did you see that playing out like? And did they, you know, divert from that path that you may or may not have expected?
I had no idea that Tifa used her punches. Like, I thought she had a weapon. Yeah. And then when I first picked up like one of her sonic strikers, I was like, this is insane. She actually just punches people in the face for fun, you know?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. She's out there beefing. She's technically in Final Fantasy prior to 7, she would be qualified as like the monk class. The monk like fighter. MONK. And
like Sekiro.
Yeah. Aerith, of course, white mage, but yeah, you kind of have these like ideas of what a white mage would be. And in a lot of Final Fantasies and a lot of fighting games, you know, your healer is like typically it's like this woman who cares about the world and the earth, and she is soft spoken, and she kind of plays this role the entire time. And in this game, at face value, Aerith does have some of those qualities and Tifa does have some of those qualities, but it is essentially a role reversal between the two of those, I think, as far as like what their core values are, where Tifa, despite being the fighter, really doesn't want to fight.
Doesn't want to,
not at all.
She don't want it. She don't want it.
It's Aerith who is more of the feisty individual when it comes to not only just fighting, but I think like just the way that she carries herself, she is, again, this is another change from the original game. I think Aerith is much more likable in Final Fantasy VII Remake than she was, and that's not to say she was unlikable in Final Fantasy VII or anything like that, but they wrote her character in such a way that she stands out from Tifa and is honestly, I think, probably a better written character than Tifa, as far as like having something to say for herself and standing up for herself or doing kind of her own unexpected thing. And I think that really stands out. And we'll get there in a little bit in chapter 5 when she, our budding bodyguard, when she meets Cloud, but really cool. And that's always been something that's like super special to me about those two characters in particular is the things that they stand for. But I love that. Did you choose, oh fuck, I don't even remember the options. Maybe you do. Which drink did you get? Something stiff or something strong or something like that?
Oh, I did get a drink. The option was get a drink or not get a drink. So I did get a drink.
Okay. All right, good. You got to have a drink with Tifa. And she does like the whole thing. She shakes it. We talked a little bit about Marlene. Marlene is introduced there, which is really good. And it's such a funny, like,
she's so
seeing
cute.
Barrett so soft with Marlene, and then Marlene runs away from Cloud, and he's like, "What are you doing scaring my daughter?" Like, fucking insane.
Does it play out any other way?
No.
Okay.
Truth be told, most of the decisions in this game don't play out other ways, except for chapter 12, 13, 14, something like that, where every Final Fantasy game, vast majority of Final Fantasy games, have a quote unquote date.
Yeah.
And this one has one too, even though it's not quite framed as a date, but there is a moment outside of Aerith's house when everyone is there after Aerith has been taken by Shinra up to Shinra Tower, where depending on your decisions so far in the game, and your like relationship values, which are an invisible value based on those decisions, you will be paired up with somebody for an individual cutscene, which is always very interesting. I really want to dig into chapter 4 with you because this is our first really big departure. Chapter 4 is where Jessie asks Cloud for some help with a project, and then you, Cloud, Jessie, Wedge, and Biggs go to sector what number, Shea?
It's sector 7. It's at the top. It's on the top.
Oh, it's on top of sector 7.
Yeah.
That's so true. Great call. What did you think of this chapter?
I also thought it was like 5 or 6. It was good. It was kind of, I want to say like discombobulated. I don't know. I didn't really know what I was doing at Jessie's house. I know I was getting an ID from her dad or something, and her dad is like in a hospital bed in the house. So, and I didn't get any pizza. Like Cloud didn't get any pizza, so I felt kind of slighted.
Yeah, we never get the fucking Midgar special.
Yeah.
Well, it comes up later.
What the heck, Jessie?
Don't worry, it won't make you cry.
One of the best characters is in that chapter, I think.
Who?
Either 4 or 5. Roche.
Oh, the introduction of Roche.
Yeah. And the introduction to the bad mechanic of driving.
God, yeah, the driving sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about mini games. Did you like any of them?
Yeah. No, the only one that I didn't like was the driving sections. Those were way too long.
The driving sections are long. A lot of the enemies are tanky for sure.
Yeah. And it
that is where a lot of people.
Like,
I always recommend like this game. What did you play on, easy or normal?
I played on normal up until chapter 12, like right after the train cemetery, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like the ghost place.
That has a very tanky final boss too.
Yeah.
Which is great. I think about that chapter 4 like ending scene with Roche being such a strange moment, because Roche also doesn't exist in the original game. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, not at all. But very, very strong character, and is a cool addition to kind of like represent other soldiers exist, and they're in fact like an enemy that wear similar stuff to Cloud, and we see Zack wearing that kind of thing later on, and we have Roche. They're all kind of wearing the same ish armor and whatnot. But I think that Roche is a cool like face to put with the name, or name to put with the faces, if that makes sense, to represent those people, because he's a fucking insane person, but is like over the top and campy and really fun, and definitely one of my favorite additions. But yeah, I'm really happy that chapter 4 exists, and especially some people would look at that and be like, this didn't need to exist, this is padding the game out, this is making their 5-hour section 40 hours, and sucks.
It just gives you backstory, and it shows you, like, obviously if you haven't played the game you wouldn't know, it shows you what's on top of Sector 7.
Yeah,
when it goes really cool.
Yeah. And I think giving Jesse in particular a little bit of extra backstory is interesting as well, with her dad being sick, and it's not just helping us with those characters, but like you said, it's helping us learn the environment of Midgar more, and it's also helping us understand like the dangers of Mako, I think, more, where it's like basically fucking nuclear energy that is fucking not just the earth up, but the people around it. So chapter 4, very strong. Chapter 5, end of chapter 4, I believe, is where things go off the fucking rails for the first time with the plot ghosts, right? They're getting ready to do their next bombing run, and it's supposed to be, I want to say it is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is the end of chapter 4. So you get back to Midgar next morning, wake up. It is time for Avalanche to go on their crazy little trip to go bomb the Sector 5 reactor, I believe. And it's going to be the same crew, excluding Cloud. Cloud's not going to be on that mission. But shit goes absolutely crazy in the daytime in Sector 7 in those plot ghost attack. Jesse gets injured, and Cloud is invited to go. Interesting. And we'll get to some reasoning why. Plot. Yeah. We're keeping things on track at that point. That's for sure.
Right.
Then we have what is like the first, I think, probably like traditional dungeon, where it's kind of like the subway station type of thing, the train tracks.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't be Tifa, Barrett, and was it all? Yeah, Tifa, Barrett, and Cloud if it wasn't in a train, train
There's
track.
a lot of fucking train stuff going on in there for sure. Not that much happens in that section. You kind of get to the big area above Sector 5, and then you have the dungeon itself, where you have to turn off all of the lights. How did you feel about these like grindier sections in the game?
I liked them. I did get lost a bunch, but I was determined to collect everything. So if I saw materia, like one of the chocobo and Moogle materia in the fan, I wanted that one. The blue one, I wanted that one. So determined to get all those before turning off the lights, but you have to turn off the lights to get them. So
yeah,
it was a little confusing at first, but over time.
For sure. I think you generally did pretty well in those like exploration sections, because I think you benefit from being somebody who's down to check like the nooks and crannies and like, 100% some areas and whatnot. Whereas I'm always looking for like the golden path, and I do want my materia from time to time, but for the most part, I'm just fucking trying to stay on the straight and narrow. But yeah, I like that section fine. There are more offensive dungeons to me later on in this game. That's for sure. But at the end of that entire thing is the actual bombing that gets a little crazy. So we meet, I think we've seen him before, but Heidegger shows up at the end after the boss fight with the Airbuster, introduces his brand new toy. Shit goes haywire. Cloud gets separated from the party. Falls down, says this isn't goodbye, and just fucking pops down, falls through the fucking roof of a church, and we reunite with our flower peddler.
Yes.
I love that church. And listen, I don't even go to churches. But that church, I would go there. I would pray to whoever, whatever it takes. Too funny.
Man.
You also meet moments after Cloud and Aerith reunite, and they have their first, like, I think, really fucking cute and endearing scene where she hires him as, you know, bodyguard. Reno shows up. The fucking
he's cool.
Turks. Yeah. I love Reno, and I love Rude, and I love Sung as well.
Yeah.
Yep. The Turks are very cool. What did you think of the you love fighting like just a person, so I'm assuming you really loved that fight, right?
Yeah, that fight was good until he took out his like weird
Baton?
orbs. Not the baton,
yeah.
but the orbs that were going around. I didn't know they had health bars, so I didn't know that I could hit them.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a little bit to do that.
Yeah, and at this point, you're still playing on
fighting
normal.
humans. Yeah, this is on normal.
We
Fighting
love
humans,
this.
parrying. The parry system was fine. You could probably do without it. Like the last half of the game, I did without it. I think I only parried big guy, big blonde dude.
Big guy.
Rufus?
Big guy. Big.
Yeah. Rufus.
Big guy, Rufus. Pants okay. I think that I have never parried in that game. I recently played Fable start to finish, and at the very end of the game, I found like a stat tracking page, and it showed like the amount of times that I've been killed and the amount of times that I've killed enemies. And then it was like the amount of attacks blocked was 1. The amount of like hits taken was like 1,372.
Was it a parry though?
I don't know. It was a fucking parry. I'm not blocking. I'm not parrying. I'm not dodge rolling. 2026 is the action only. Best defense, a good offense.
Yeah. Sure. Why have to parry if you just deal damage? Ugh.
So
5 head.
5 head indeed. The trip to Aerith's house, not just through like the Sector 5 actual slums, but like that kind of open area where you're traversing the rooftops and whatnot.
Yeah.
So good for Aerith character building. Were you charmed?
I wish I could push her down the slide.
She should go down the slide.
Keep that thunder away from me.
Yeah.
No, she's pretty sweet. Yeah. And witty and sassy.
Yeah, and she does like the fake out, like she's gonna need like all kinds of help and shit and whatnot.
Yeah.
She does need a little bit of help, but for the most part, it is all just very endearing stuff. I think that they do a good job of like writing Aerith there and giving us an idea of what she's gonna be like, which we've mostly covered. But how obsessed? 10 being the most obsessed you've ever been with anything, 1 being not obsessed at all. How obsessed are you with Aerith's house?
Oh yes, very good.
Number, Shea?
Probably a 10.
Probably a 10.
I love the plants everywhere, and it's just so lively and green. It's so pretty.
It is so good, and it is such a... That game desperately needs like splashes of color. It really, really needs like environmental differences. And spoilers for Rebirth, you get a ton of that in Rebirth. You have all sorts of different like almost biomes, you know what I mean? Like visual distinctions between areas. Whereas Remake is just pretty much like a metal fucking city. So anytime there's like a moment where you get those big splashes of color and whatnot, it goes a really long way. I think that's why like the later on in the Shinra building, there's that scene, we'll get to it, with the like projector, like the planetarium looking thing, where it shows like the lush Midgar of the future, Neo Midgar, and the history of the Cetra and stuff. Definitely one of my favorite things. Sector 5, we talked about the school. We talked, oats. You like oats? Doesn't like oats.
No.
Wall Market. Good vibes at Wall Market.
Wall Market is the place to be. Yeah.
Wall Market
very
is the place to be.
Lively.
For sure. I got a question for you. At Wall Market, what level hand massage did you purchase?
I got the luxury hand massage.
Atta girl.
I got
That's
the
the way to
30,000 one or whatever.
You can't be skimping on hand massages or any type of massage. Absolutely insane moment. By that time, if we're talking about chapter 9, we have done side quests in Sector 7 and in Sector 5. You completed all of those side quests and got best dresses?
Yes.
Iconic.
I didn't even know it was for that. Like, I thought by default Aerith has the red dress. I didn't know she has those little pink dresses.
No, she can have a pretty frumpy little dress, I fear. But thank God you didn't have to see that. And the cutscenes are always so
No.
interesting too. The way that they come out, they play like shitty little music and whatnot. It's truly insane. I really, really dig everything that happens in Wall Market, but definitely highlight being Honeybee Inn. We have to talk about it. Did you love it?
Andrea Rodea, so good.
Oh.
Yeah, I liked it, but I literally beelined it for the door and didn't look into the other rooms. So
you didn't miss that much.
I watched your VOD.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
very good.
So I do know that Palmer was in one of those rooms.
That's the most. That's like the funniest little like lore building thing. Is like we really haven't seen that much Palmer. He's like the only Shinra, because Shinra is basically like figureheaded by a handful of people. It's like President Shinra, and then eventually Rufus Shinra, his son, who takes over the presidency, and then it's Hojo, Scarlet, Palmer, and Heidegger,
Reeve.
and Reeve as well. Great call. But I feel like the person that we spend the least time with out of them, that's like kind of important to the story, is Palmer. And seeing Palmer fucking on hands and knees crawling after the fucking honeybee girl is so insane. Absolutely wild.
Maybe it's actually him in the Shinra suit on all fours for Scarlet.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my god.
That's also iconic. Scarlet rules. Okay, so Honeybee Inn, the actual like cross-dressing scene is so well done.
That was so cute, yeah.
It's so good, and it's such a great twist. It's another one of those things where like if you would like a reasoning for the remake extending and embellishing sections, this is the reason. Like this is how you take something that at one time was almost played for like laughs. Like it wasn't the most, it's not that it wasn't like a tolerant thing, or it wasn't like specifically intolerant, and the joke wasn't like Cloud wearing girls' clothes or anything like that, but it wasn't played the same way. It wasn't nearly as like empowering, and taking that and flipping it into that for like a modern audience and not shying away from what it was, but making it something that says even more is absolute fucking cinema. I love what they did there. It also has one of my favorite line deliveries of all time after the fact, when Cloud is waiting outside and you're playing as Aerith, and you go to talk to him and he's ignoring you. he's like, yep, I know, nailed it. Moving on. Very, very good. We meet Don Corneo, unbelievable piece of shit.
Julio. Yes.
Yeah, of course. Deplorable human. We end up in the sewers. Oh, we haven't talked about Johnny. We should talk about Johnny a little bit.
Johnny! He just wants his pillow. Well, his dad just wants to give him his pillow.
That's very true. That's very true. Another piece of shit with a probably good heart, question mark. But Johnny's really, really cool. We also meet what's the guy's name who works for Don Corneo with the
Leslie
missing wife? Yeah, that is a dark storyline.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere too. He just sent us on a wild goose chase to get a locket or something.
Yeah.
This wasn't even the key.
By the way, let me tell you about what happened. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
There's a lot implied with Don Corneo that's not very good stuff. But I do love the like, I'll smash them, I'll rip them off, or whatever the fucking lines are from all of them. Is very good. Not much to talk about in the sewers after you end up down there, except for, to me, one of my favorite additional character building things, which is the sisterhood of the traveling Aerith and Tifa.
Oh yeah,
who just met each other. And they're becoming fast friends, and it is so precious. Another piece that really didn't exist prior to this game. Like they had very little interaction directly. The stuff that they would talk about was mostly plot. There were none of those little moments of them like yucking it up and fucking kind of ganging up on Cloud a little bit too, like making fun of him together so that they grow a little bit closer. I think is very precious. They talk about like going shopping and like, we'll make Cloud hold our bags. Is fucking pristine. Very good stuff.
Yeah. I think every girl wants that kind of friendship with another girl, you know? So it
for
was very
sure.
sweet to see.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
very,
and I
very
think
cute.
doing that kind of thing in the midst of like a pretty heavy game and a heavy scenario, the girly pop
Mhm.
sticking together is important. So I like what
Yeah,
they did there.
yeah.
Did you hate the graveyard?
I didn't hate it at first, and then everything just started to one-shot me for no reason, like, just random ads, not even bosses. So then
Yep.
I did turn down the difficulty at this point
Yeah.
after the graveyards. But yeah, I
Yeah. I
was
find
over
that
it, I was over it.
section very annoying. And you'd be surprised to know this would seem like the graveyard has some additional stuff in it, like the subplot with does it have Aerith flashbacks?
Yeah, it has Aerith and, like, the kids she used to play with, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kind of making fun of her a little bit and whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, Precious. Aerith, child Aerith, precious. But this is one of the sections that you would think it would be all brand new stuff, like just like, okay,
Mhm.
well, we're adding a chapter here. But the fucking train graveyard sucks in the original one too. It's like a weird little puzzle. You have to like move this train forward and back
Yeah.
to like adjust things. I remember being one of the very early moments in the original Final Fantasy VII where the map is a little obtuse and I got very, very lost. I spent a lot of time running around fighting random battles I did not want to fight so I could just figure out where to go next in that game. So definitely a sore point in the original, but we get through the train graveyard and we end up back at the Sector 7 slums and shit is
Mhm.
going fucking insane. Going
That's
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's at the point when they're like, "Oh, they're gonna drop the plate,"
Yeah. So
and
they're running
everything's
back
just, like, on fire.
to warn. Yeah. So
Yeah,
they arrive, Tifa, Barrett, Tifa,
Aerith.
Aerith, Cloud, Aerith. To the bottom of the plate and they kind of have like a little bit of separation. Cloud up
Mhm.
alone and then Aerith towards seventh heaven, I believe, is the mission at hand.
Yeah, to get
So
Marlene.
you're ascending as Cloud and we run up. The first person that we see is Wedge, who fucking tumbles off the goddamn tower.
He's fine, though.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's had so
The next
many
person
run-ins.
we bump into is Biggs,
Mm,
not doing too hot.
yeah.
One would think Dedge, but
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
we do see him at the end fucking laying in a bed,
And he
which is
opens his
interesting.
eyes or
Yep.
does something. He's
And
breathing.
then last up, Jesse.
Mm.
How did these hit for you? Did you, at this point, do these scenes make you cry at all? Do they make you emotional? Have you cried yet in the game prior to this moment?
I know you're, like, baiting me. Yeah, both of these scenes were really, really hard. And I have cried prior to them, but I think it was just, like, wholesome tears, not even happy tears, but just wholesome tears when,
Mm-hmm.
what is that? Chapter 5 when Cloud and Aerith get back to her house
Yeah.
and, Aerith is, like, talking to her plants, and then Cloud talks to her plants and is like, "You better learn how to talk to her," or something, and that was really sweet. So I cried because of that, because I like plants, and I would like if someone did that for me, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that was very sweet.
For
And
sure.
then, Biggs and Jesse,
Yeah,
that was a moment.
is mortifying. The Biggs one is
Yeah,
definitely tough, but the one that sticks out to me is Jesse and that shit.
yeah.
So here's the thing that you should know is like this is like a spoiler for the original Final Fantasy VII for you that I think is worth noting is that in Final Fantasy VII original, all three of them die right there, and we do not ever see any of them again.
Oh,
Series wrap.
plot holes.
Plot
Interesting.
holes. That's why there is a lot of like plot ghost stuff with like what's going on up on that tower and whatnot. And I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what that means for the future, but it's one of those things. And the reason that I bring it up here is I think credit where credit is due to the writers here for making these emotional beats work, because like I said before, Final Fantasy VII didn't do much justice to Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. They were like side characters, extra members of Avalanche. They were named. They had maybe a dozen lines total between all of them, or maybe each, but not fleshed out and not characters truthfully that I like cared much about. Like literally when you roll, it's fucking insane. When you roll up to the thing, to the plate, you see like Wedge fall down and get slumped and he just fucking dies right there. And then like someone's like hanging over like the fence and whatnot.
God.
Yeah, it's not a great situation, I fear. But here's the thing, playing this game for the first time, I know that these deaths are coming. And I'm like, so this isn't going to affect me. I was in absolute shambles for Jesse.
Yeah.
Even knowing that it was going to come, I am like obsessed with that scene. It's grim, a grim thing. Not obsessed is the wrong word. Grim scene to be obsessed with. But I think that it is so well done and it gets me every single time because not only is it a really good like depiction of like the way that Jesse handles like her impending doom basically. And is trying to kind of like make light of it. So she's like, my hero, so gentle, the fucking fist bump at the end. And then the line that gets me every single time is when everyone knows it's bad, it's Tifa. It's like, oh no, Tifa's crying. Did I say something wrong? Fucking destroys me like, every time. It's so tough. And it's so like, it's sold so well as well. Like, I think they do such a great job of like, having those characters show emotion, which is tough to do in video games. Like it's tough to make like a character cry and have them not look like idiots or like have that resonate and be like, oh my God, like this fictional computer generated character looks very sad. Like it doesn't happen that often in video games for it to like affect somebody in that way. And, you know, to feel not like sympathy, but like empathy towards them is, I think, very fucking impressive. So yeah, truly mortifying scene. But
did they do motion capture?
I don't think so. You know, they probably do. They probably do, but I don't know. Like, it's not like they have like some named person who's like getting the flowers for it or anything like that. It's the voice actors, and that's all we really hear about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's got to be some facial capture or recognition or something like that. If anyone knows who did that for Tifa, please slide in my DMs. Top of the tower, showdown with Reno and Rude at the same time.
That was
very cool fight.
That was very fun.
Yep. I believe that's the scene. Is that the scene, or did it happen in the Sector 5 fight that Rude's glasses break?
Ooh, I don't think I even noticed. It might be this fight.
Oh, it's the coolest. It's the fucking swaggy in a game that's oozing with style. The most stylish thing that happens in this entire video game is you punch Rude in the fucking face. Like after you cutscene him. Explain to the people, what does cutscening somebody mean?
Okay, so it's your OP ability. Once you set up all the damage, right? And attempt to do damage to the boss, then they're gonna whip out a cutscene, and all the stuff that you just set up doesn't matter. So, like in limiting for your character, if you're playing like Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, whatever, if you use your limit, that's a cutscene. So you have iframes, invincibility frames, so you don't get hit, and it just pauses everything, and it's guaranteed damage. So right back at you. Get cutscened.
Get it documented. I believe getting cutscened as a verb is invented by Shea Noel, and I fucking love it. Like sending somebody into their like mid-phase cutscene and being like, get cutscened is really good shit. Like I think that's very, very strong. But you cutscene Rude, basically. You punch Rude in the fucking face and his glasses are broken, and he takes his glasses off and throws them and then pulls a fresh pair of glasses out, exact same style, and puts them on. Oh my God. It is unfucking believable. Oh, that's it is crazy. Sick. Some people in chat think that might have happened twice. It definitely is. It's a very strong aura that Rude has, I fear, that most bald men have, actually. True story.
Interesting.
That's how it works. Anyway, protecting the plate went great. Only not really at all. Aerith goes and I want to pick your brain. Something weird fucking happens.
Mhm.
Something weird happens twice or a couple times with Aerith and
And
people
Marlene.
and
Oh, yeah.
Marlene. Well, yeah, actually, I think it's by people. I mean, actually, one time it's with a people and one time it's with a dog. But she basically talks to Marlene briefly, and Marlene is like scared of her, and then they
Mhm.
have some kind of interaction, and all of a sudden, what do you think is going on here?
Marlene might be a descendant, maybe, of the
Mm-hmm.
who starts with a C, one of Aerith's people,
Etc.
maybe, and etc. And she might be like a half like Aerith,
Mm,
you know?
good theory.
Maybe once they like touch, they like zap each other or something. I don't know.
I like it. That happens again with Red 13.
Yeah.
In one
So
of the
that's
very
what
late
makes me
chapters as
think
well.
it's like some kind of Mako relation because Red 13 was like being experimented on.
Yes, yeah, they were
So
in
maybe
captivity together.
Marlene could be one of those too.
Yeah, yep, very cool.
Mm.
Plate falls. One of the things that we see is a little guy. What do you make of that?
Oh yeah, what the heck was that? I didn't miss that. That was a little guy and he was just standing there and he was like, "Oh no."
Yeah,
But
he does a little like fist pound, like what have they done type of
yeah.
thing.
There was a plethora of cats in Sector 7 and he looked like
Yeah.
a cat.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that was his like descendants or cousins, as you would say. And maybe okay, there was a music disc that
Yeah,
had a picture of the guy on it, and it was called
sure.
Kate Sith. So
Kate Sith, Ketchi. Let
what?
me explain to you the fucking ancient lore of Ketchi. Kate Sith, spelled Caitshith, I believe, is the way that you spell
Yeah,
that name. And
yeah.
initially, I believe it is like Irish or it's Gaelic, I think. Is that the name
Oh,
of
it's like
the thing?
Saoirse Ronan or
Correct,
something.
correct. Yeah, so it's got an interesting
Gotcha.
pronunciation. And for a very long time in the fandom, there was like debate on what Kate Sith's name was. And for a while, there was like a stable meta of like Final Fantasy VII fans had confirmed and were locked in on like the knowers all called that character Ketchi. And when the game was like localized or whatever, and I honestly don't remember exactly who the interview was with, they confirmed they're like it said how it's like spelled, like it's Kate
Yeah.
Sith. So I had to relearn that. And I mean that's back. Do you know about Aerith?
Oh yeah, she was Eris,
Yeah.
and then in the different translation, in the English translation, she was Aerith with the TH.
No, it was Aerith is what her name is supposed to be. And in the English translation, I grew up with Eris, Aeris. Isn't that crazy?
Interesting. So in OG7 it says Eris.
Mm-hmm.
Still?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing with Final Fantasy characters as well. When you get somebody added to your party in those old Final Fantasies, it brings up like a text editor, and it's like it shows you like new party member added, and it gives you Aerith's picture, and it says Aeris, and then you can just hit backspace and type in whatever the fuck you
It's
want.
like
So
Pokemon.
like, yeah, my cloud was named Jake. You know what I mean? Back in 1999 or something like that, which is to me, I think that's sacrilegious. Like as far back as I can remember, having like adult cognizance, I feel like from my early teens, I would play like once I understood that Link was Link, I'd never made Link Jake ever again. You know, my save file was Link. I don't want to play as Jake. I want to play as the fucking hero of time.
You play as Zelda, obviously. It's Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, of course. A link to the past. So plate falls, little guy freaks out. Marlene, safe question mark. Some people survive. The one thing that I love about this scene is, God, the scale is so well done. Like, it feels like a massive attack that just happened, like an actual like terrorist attack. A plot was carried out, and you can see like the mass casualties at play, and that is that scope is not there in the original, which is, I think, something that's really lacking there. And I love Remake for kind of like selling that a little bit more. From there, we have, to me, what is like, it is the most bloated part of the game, the travel back to Sector 5 to Marlene's house.
That was so like back and forth.
Yeah, you're outside of Sector 7 in like the ruins, and you're having all of these like emotional reactions, and then you have to go back to Don Corneo, and then you have to go back to the Elmira Eris mother and whatnot, and then you have the world is like quote unquote open, the most open that it gets for side quests. Did you do all of these side quests as well?
I did.
What a champion. Yeah. What a champion. Love to see it. Ask me how many I did in my favorite game.
How many did you do?
I did none of them, actually. Yes, correct. None of them.
Does it determine anything, like the ones with the dresses, or it's just
That's
fluff?
a really good question. I don't think so.
Interesting.
I'm sure. I bet I'm wrong in that there's like weapons or something like that you get from something, and then there's like plot lines that like I have watched so many people play the game. I watched you play it, and like I saw things that I'd never seen before. But I feel like I now absorbed everything from those side quests just from being a person of the internet and whatnot.
Because some of the side quests like give insight to the actual story, like the Miss Folia in Sector 5, like that's how I knew she had some kind of relation with Biggs, you know?
Yep. You meet some pretty cool side characters. Who's that frumpy old woman who is like
the guardian of the slums? Yeah, the guardian angel of the slums with freaking Kyrie, who is stupid spelling.
Fucking love Kyrie. Do you hate her?
She's so mean.
Yeah, she's like written to be. She's so like fucking absurdly written and like meant to be like abrasive. I feel like you're supposed to kind of want to hate her, but I feel like she's well put together and is a fun character for the game. I definitely like Kyrie. But there's some good. Yeah. I like a lot of those side characters. You have to go and do some shit for like Chocobo Sam as well. Which is pretty fun. But eventually you end up with Leslie again, and you go back to the fucking sewers. They're like, if we're going to use a dungeon twice, let's make sure it's the worst one.
Right. That was so confusing to find. God, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. That section is, to me, probably the weakest part of the game. But then after that, they do a really bad job of explaining that this is kind of the point of no return, but also not really. You're like 2/3 of the way through the game. There's still a lot left. But we need to go and rescue Aerith, which is so funny. They're like, we need to rescue Aerith. Here are 17 side quests you can do. Yeah, let's go do some fucking squats.
But I am the champion. You must know. Of squats and that other one.
Sit-ups? No.
Pull-ups? I think Tifa did pull-ups. Right. Yeah.
Very good. Very impressive.
Championship belt. Champion's belt.
We love to see it. And then we get to the point where we get our little like grappling gun and we leave the slums for the last time. And we head up Shinra Tower. And there's not too much to report on here. Like it is very much just like kind of like an action segment where you are just like ascending up to Shinra Tower. You get to Shinra Tower and then you have kind of some cool segments. I really do like the vibe of like, we talked a little bit about like visual distinction. Up till this point, we've had like 15, 16 chapters of like pretty much the same visual aesthetic. Once we get in there, we have like more advanced technology inside of this building. We have some neon lights and stuff. I think it's a good splash of color. What did you think about your time inside of the Shinra building?
That was a cool building.
Yeah.
That was a very cool building. It reminded me of like the Arasaka from Cyberpunk.
Sure.
Ryujin from Starfield. The big, I don't know what it's called in Deus Ex, but it looks like the Deus Ex building too. Like that was the Corpo building, so they couldn't have done it better, I think.
Yeah, they were cooking there for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love the little segment with Tifa where she has to do like the fucking monkey bars, and
Oh
it's
my
playing
gosh.
the absurd like
That was a long time. Yeah, she was heisting.
yeah, for sure. It's so absurd. Everyone gets a little moment to shine there. Pretty cool. You took elevator, not stairs, right?
Yeah, I couldn't find the stairs.
The stairs are just this random
I was so
ass,
confused.
for sure. And I know I pushed on you a video of what it's like to take the stairs, so you know the drill there,
Yes,
which
yes,
is
I
cool.
do
But
know the stairs.
there's subtle changes, but like you can see where playing this game multiple times is kind of interesting, where like there's enough that's changed up where you'll know, and it's like you could see every single thing that this game basically has to offer for the most part. If you play a second time, you're like, I'm skipping the side quest. I want to see fucking Aerith come out in her frumpy dress, and I'm taking the stairs, and you know, we'll get to have those experiences, but you get the idea now. And then next time you go through, when you do your 2028 100% completion platinum run, you'll be good to go. Perfect.
Yeah, after I play all 15 of the 7s.
Correct. Yeah,
Right.
you think it's stopping there, you're out of your mind. So we climb Shinra Tower, we get up to the top, and at this point, I guess, is there anything to talk about? There's a lot of Hojo stuff inside here.
Yes.
Hate Hojo,
That was
right?
the first time. Hojo sucks. I think that was the first time you like saw him in the game.
Yeah, I think he's at like the conference table and shit like that for a couple like early scenes and whatnot, but definitely the first time he's featured or has like any lines or anything, I believe. Same deal, like we've seen Heidegger, and I think Reeve is kind of making his debut at that point
Reeves.
as well.
No, Reeves was where was this? At the beginning of chapter 8 or chapter 12, they had that scene with Reeves and some other guy, and Reeves was trying to get John Shinra to like not drop the plate and to warn the public.
Yes, in the office. Yeah, you're right. So you can tell Reeve seems to be like a redeemable one on the on the thing. He's kind of fighting for the people, and I think he's got like a weird position. Chat, help me out on what
infrastructure guy.
I think it's like something about like building and shit like that, which is probably why he's mad about the plate. He has to rebuild.
Don't drop it.
Shit.
I made this.
Very good.
Do not. Yeah.
It's crazy. You know, I think this is a great place to talk about him because he's popped up prior, but in the original Final Fantasy VII, this is really interesting. We do not see Sephiroth a single time until we see his sword stuck in the back of President Shinra.
In the OG?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And there is no conversation whatsoever. Basically what happens is you do your climb all the way up to the top, you know, you get your key card, you do your dungeoning or whatever inside there. And then you get to that room with President Shinra. And in this game, I think when you get up there, President Shinra is hanging off the edge of the building, and he just had an interaction with Sephiroth that we didn't see off screen, I believe.
Oh.
Or, I mean, I'm assuming that's how he ended up
hanging
off the fucking side.
Yeah, he was like walking through the halls. It was Palmer. Yeah, I think it might have been the ghosts, because Palmer saw him in the hall, and then they mentioned, like, Palmer and at least Heidegger mentioned to Shinra that so-and-so is back, and Shinra just like brushed him off.
Yes, okay.
So it might have been the ghosts.
They do a great job in the original game where you have like a big fight, I believe. You fight against the Genova thing in this, and then there's that trail of like purple blood that you follow, right?
Yeah.
And the trail of purple blood brings you to the president's office, and then that whole thing transpires. In the original game, that blood is not purple, it's fucking red. You have no idea what the fuck is going on and what you're following. You're following this trail of destruction, and when you get there, Sephiroth's sword, got a name, by the way, Masamune. It's a pretty standard sword name. You hear it around. Is just sticking in the back of fucking President Shinra, like assassinated. There's no interaction with him whatsoever. So the entire Barrett death fake out, did that get you? Did you think Barrett was done for?
No.
Yeah.
I've seen him in Rebirth.
Yeah. You've seen the trailers.
He's in the cover. He's in the cover.
You know this fool is around.
He ain't dead.
For sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But it was the fates. It was the fates. The arbiters.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Protected.
Um,
Yeah.
At that point, things get weird. So we have the death fake out. President Shinra goes down. Sephiroth in and out. Plot goes in and out. Party separation. Now that we have everybody. Oh, we reunite with Aerith. We meet Red 13.
Yeah.
I'm skipping around too badly over here in these last couple chapters.
Mother.
But the
Yes,
Nova. What do you think about Red 13 so far?
He's good. He's exactly like Aerith, just secretive as heck about everything that's going on. But I think he had a pretty good monologue that gave some backstory, and I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, he's got interesting perspective. He seems old and wise, and he is very much like a addition to the party that you're like, ooh, fuck, I want to know more about this dog.
Yeah. Why he talking?
Yeah, for sure.
Animals
You
just
also
talk now.
have that dungeon that involves him as well, where he's not like a playable character.
Oh, yeah.
But that's like the final dungeon. How did you like that thing where the party splits a few times and there's some like back and forth mechanics? Did it go well for you?
I thought that was pretty witty, because like you can play as Aerith and Tifa, do your girly stuff, and then help everyone. Yeah, I don't think it was that bad. I know a lot of people have reservations on it, but it wasn't that bad because of, you know, the It Takes Two likes and the Split Fiction likes, you know.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's one of those things that is very like not divisive because some people hate it, but I think at that point you're kind of ramping towards the ending. You're like, fuck yeah, after this we know what's going down, and it's like, oh wait, but here's a 2-hour like combat and puzzle section to trudge through.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the end so fast, but nope.
Yeah, for sure. So we work with Hojo, we get Aerith back. We spend time in Aerith's activity room, which is mortifying. And she talks a little bit about like her history growing up there and drawing on the walls and whatnot, which I think is a really good like character building for her. Eventually, we need to get the fuck out of the Shinra building, and your favorite part of the game starts. But I will say, before we get to your favorite part of the game, one of the coolest fucking scenes with some of the coolest music ever in the world is them hopping into that nasty little truck and Cloud taking that fucking Shinra cycle off of the display. And
that
the
was
music,
so cool.
It's so badass.
Yeah.
The jump through the window too. It's also worth noting, I would love for you to go back and watch the original cutscene there, because it's one of the, well, not few times, but it's one of the times that it goes from like the shitty polygonal like graphics to like a pre-rendered cutscene where it shows Cloud like with the right features and perspectives and whatnot, hopping on that thing and driving it out down the stairs and shit, and the music is getting super hype. It is very, very cool. But then we bust through that window and we end up on the highway, and you start having the worst time ever. Give us a rundown of what transpired there.
Well, I already wasn't a fan of fighting on motorcycles. So they gave you a whole motorcycle fight, first with little guys, like with officers, then with like a moth unit or something, one of those big mechs. And this is like a 10-minute long, already driving so long fight. And then they give you a big boss for no reason. Like, who is that?
Yeah, it's a little nightmarish, no doubt.
Difficult. That was the worst part of the game.
Yeah, I remember struggling with that, especially my first time too, where a lot of what I was doing was just like hanging back and waiting for that stupid like L1 spell or whatever, like the whirlwind spell.
Yes, it takes so long
to just refresh, and it's such a long cooldown, and you are like basically neutered outside of that one cast as well. So you're just like sitting there trying not to die until you get that thing up again, and then finally you can close in and hit the right wheels and shit, but not ideal. We rapidly approach. Yeah, it's a fucking scenario. And Aerith is like taunting you with her voice lines. You were raging. If you wanted to go pick a good VOD to watch, it's like the second to last VOD. No, it's the last VOD, right?
I think I took that VOD down.
Lost footage. You'll never see it. You had to be there. Twitch.tv/Shea
I think it's
_Noel
on. Yeah,
SHEA, like the butter.
like the butter. There you have it.
That's so funny.
Goodness gracious.
Oh man, I absolutely love it. We kill that fucking thing. We end up at the fuck, there's a word for it. Chad, does anyone know what it is? Shea, do you know it's like the crossroads of everything, or Destiny's Crossroads? Nailed it.
The crossroads?
Yeah, maybe at the crossroads, like Bone Thugs and Harmony. We're completely off the fucking rails now. So basically what happens is in the original Final Fantasy VII, you break out of the Shinra building, you take the highway all the way to the motherfucking outside of Midgar. Like literally there's a massive like iron door. You lower yourself down and you are now in the wide open world of Gaia. And now this is you realize that there is a world map. You realize that there are other cities to visit. There is so much more to do. It is so much more expansive and large than you ever thought before. There is no quote unquote climax outside of the fight that you just accomplished. So everything else that happens is now completely, for lack of a better term, unwritten. And you enter that Destiny's Crossroads through that little portal. Aerith kind of explains what the fuck is going on. And tell me, I know you and I have talked about it. I think you got a pretty good pulse on what's happening there with those plot ghosts, with those dementors, with those what the fuck is the real name for them? I've been saying it a bunch tonight.
Arbiters of fate.
Arbiters of fate. Break it down for me, Shea. Where are you at? What do you think?
Well, they were swarming Midgard, so maybe that means Midgard like doesn't blow up, or you don't go back to Midgard for a long time. Dude, I don't know. The weird like flame portal. I was expecting it to be an actual portal, like to another dimension, but maybe. What did I say about this before? Maybe it is another dimension and you just like entered a different timeline, kind of. Because I don't know if I looked back at Midgar after I went through the portal, or if you can even do that.
Yeah, I mean,
to see if the guys were around it.
I've played Rebirth, and I can tell you that I don't really have like additional context here. Like, I don't exactly know. I can only go off of basically what happens at the end of Remake. Like, it's not really expanded upon or anything like that. But the context that I have is the original Final Fantasy VII and their lack of existence. And the reason why people call these things plot ghosts, these arbiters of fate, is essentially the big revelation at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake. What the ending is trying to tell you is that these plot ghosts the entire time, these arbiters of fate, are a supernatural entity, like a hive mind type of thing, that are working together to quote unquote like keep things on track. So what you notice throughout the game is that they are most prominent when you're going off the rails of the initial story of Final Fantasy VII. So a great example is in Chapter 4, when you come back to that mission where you're supposed to go bomb Chapter 5, right? Chapter 5, Sector 5. The initial game is you as Cloud are hired again by Barrett and Avalanche to go with Tifa and the rest of the crew and bomb the next reactor. In this game, they say, we don't need you this time, Merc. We're overpaying you. We got everybody that we need. This is a family party. Get the fuck out of here. Right? That's when the plot ghosts really kind of keep things in like fucking kick things into hyperdrive, because now things are getting to the point of, hey, if Cloud doesn't go on this trip, if he doesn't go bomb Sector 5, then things never go wrong. Then he never falls through. Then he never reunites with Aerith. Then he never this. The dominoes start to fall in such a way that we're going to be completely off track in this world. So essentially, what is revealed to us is the Arbiters of Fate are keeping things on track, and it seems like the events of Final Fantasy VII happened already. And that this game, Final Fantasy VII Remake, is in a lot of ways a sequel to Final Fantasy VII, if that makes sense. Because the events of Final Fantasy VII already transpired, there is a way to navigate this world in accordance with those events, right? Because those events are what we're trying to keep on track. So basically, Final Fantasy VII happened. This is not a, we're going to get like meta here. This is not a remake, if that makes sense.
Right.
You know, like the title, like remake, like if we had like the Witcher 3 remake, if we had, you know, Super Mario 64 remake, you expect the same game, you expect a coat of paint. However, what's happening in this game is not a one-to-one remake. There are things that are happening that did not happen in the original game, but that reference the events of the original. Rewritten is a great way to put it, like maybe perhaps like a better term to use. And again, not exactly what you would expect, but also from Tetsuya Nomura, the mastermind behind Kingdom Hearts. Do you know that the creator of this game, do you know the body of work of Tetsuya Nomura? I ask you now,
No.
Shea. Okay. This is my guy. So he initially started with Square Enix as, I think, an art designer, a character designer. And he started in Final Fantasy VI. He designed Setzer, who was like the gambler, and the ninja in that game, whose name escapes me. I think it's Shadow. And from there, he continued at Square Enix, designing every main character, being the primary designer of the characters for Final Fantasy VII. Again, not the director of the game, not the producer of the game. He designed Cloud. He designed, a bunch of characters from Final Fantasy VII. He did it in Final Fantasy VIII. I don't think he did in 9. He definitely did in 10. Created Tidus. He has a couple other pieces of work too, where he works on like the bouncer for the PlayStation 2 as well. And then his first game that he actually directed is Kingdom Hearts 1. And Kingdom Hearts will forever be Tetsuya Nomura's baby. It's the only franchise that is like wholly his. He has directed all of the mainline games in the series. He is mostly known for that. Outside of that, the only predominant Final Fantasy game that he was going to create was a game called Final Fantasy Versus 13, and that's another podcast. We'll go over it one day. Versus 13. Correct. It's not Final Fantasy 13. It was like a sequel to Final Fantasy 13, or a side story to Final Fantasy 13, who starred a different character, but that game ended up being taken from Nomura and then twisted into Final Fantasy 15. So he kind of designed Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. It goes off the rails because then there's all sorts of meta shit with like Kingdom Hearts 3, where the character from Final Fantasy Versus 13 is kind of in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's a fucking mess. Either way, he was brought on to direct Final Fantasy VII Remake. So there is more going on with Final Fantasy VII Remake in comparison to Kingdom Hearts than one might think. I often refer to it as like Nomura's wild ride, because you, just as like a person in the zeitgeist, I feel like like people say about Kingdom Hearts story, right?
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It's batshit fucking insanity. It's nearly impossible to follow. There's so many things going on. It is just absolutely absurd. And there is a little touch of that some people don't love, in fact, in Final Fantasy VII Remake. In a lot of it is in these like weird intricacies with this like, okay, so the original happened and now we're on this thing, and like you're assuming like maybe it's like timelines or universes, or like we don't exactly even know. But there's some fuckery about, and it's Nomura shit for sure. It is really crazy, and I think that we will have much more concise and clear storytelling once the trilogy is finished compared to Kingdom Hearts, but it is a little bit wild, that's for sure. So I think you're on the right track here.
He's an insane man.
Well, yeah, we'll fucking find out together, that's for sure. So, end of the game, you defeat the Arbiter of Fate, and essentially what they are telling you at the end of the game, ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake, is we killed the Arbiters of Fate, the things that were keeping this timeline, quote unquote, on the rails. Now we're off the rails. What happens next? The I forget what the little tagline is at the end. The great unknown, the something continues, or something like that.
Oh. I don't know.
The unknown journey continues, I think, is pretty close, or something like that.
Yeah.
Is basically that like, hey, the thing that was keeping us on the rails is gone. What happens next is anyone's guess. Nothing controls us anymore. Like our fate is in our own hands at the party as we go on to this next adventure to be told in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But wait, there's more. Final
There's
Fantasy VII
more.
Remake Intergrade. What did you think of that? What did you think of that game? Just and we don't have to go beat for beat on Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. There's only 2 chapters anyway. What did you think of Sona? What did you think of Yuffie? What did you think of the gameplay?
Yuffie was great. She was my favorite character with her kit and everything, like being ranged, using magic, using melee. So strong. She's also very charming.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely one of my favorite, and I hope she's in the next game. So
yeah,
I
she's
can
very
use
little
her.
sister pilled for sure. And yeah, you're right
Yeah.
about her kit. And I think some of that comes from just her being the only playable character in that game. You don't really have like a
Yeah.
party to speak of. They needed a way to give you both melee and ranged options, but because of that, I think it makes her the most entertaining character to use for sure. But I really like that little side story. I think there's very low stakes
Oh my gosh. Yes.
for the most part.
Also, like playing it coincide like parallel with the main story. Like it was
Yeah.
chapters 8 and chapters 12. Like
Mhm.
chapter 1 was chapter 8, and then chapter 2 was chapter 12.
Yeah.
And seeing everything on the inside of Shinra while it was going on, and then getting out of Shinra and seeing the plate fall. Like
Mhm.
that shot was so insane. Just everything going up in flames.
Yuffie's
So
fucking
sad.
no good, very bad day. It's
Yeah.
like one
Yeah.
thing leads to another. Absolute insanity. What do you make of the post Scarlet bosses and characters and stuff like that?
Post Scarlet?
Like after you fight Scarlet on like the Crimson Mare, I think is the name of it. Like her
Oh.
mech, you fight. I think the final boss
Weiss?
is Nero. Is that right?
No, yeah,
Weiss?
yeah. Nero.
Weiss and Nero.
Weiss.
I think it's Weiss.
Yeah, I don't know who those are. You fight.
Yeah.
You fight Nero. He reminded me of the dude from Death Note. He's like the death god Ryuk with the wings. He looks.
I don't know, but I'm inclined to believe
sus. Yeah,
you.
that was really interesting. I don't know what the point of them are. I think they're also experimenting on them with Mako because Yuffie was after the materia, like the most OP materia, and then Scarlet was like, it doesn't actually exist. It's not done yet, or whatever. And I think those two were the ones. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
they're
have.
twins.
So this is one of the like bigger looming mysteries. I have no further explanation on any of this shit at all, but I do have a tiny bit of context for where we would possibly see them, and it's timey-wimey bullshit that I don't have my finger completely on the pulse for. But essentially, if you're familiar with the what do they call it, chat? Do you know what the story? It's not the story. It's the compilation. The compilation of Final Fantasy VII. What do they call all of the Final Fantasy VII games, including the movie and stuff like that? There's like a phrase for it that they always cite. Yeah, something along those lines.
The corroboration.
Yeah. You're circling it, but it's basically Final Fantasy VII base game. Then you have Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, which is a prequel where you play as Zack, and then you have Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, which is a
movie.
Yep, that's a movie sequel, and then you have a couple mobile games and stuff like that were part of it. There's a game where you play, like, it was a Japanese exclusive game where you play as, I think it's called not Ever Crisis, it's something Crisis though, where you play as like a team of like Turks, not specifically Rude or Reno, but it centers around them. No, not franchise. It's like not Compendium either. There's like it's a weird branding thing that they chose for it. There's also another game. Have you ever heard of Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus?
Yes, that's Vincent Valentine, isn't it?
It's Vincent Valentine. Yeah, it's a third-person shooter for the PlayStation 2 that is
It's
not
a
often talked
shooter?
about. Yeah. And it is generally not a very good game. Story, not the weak point. It's a little bit anime and a little bit crazy, but it is the furthest game into the chronology of the Final Fantasy universe as we know it. And it is where Weiss and Nero debut. But that again takes place very far into like the future of Final Fantasy. This is years and years in the past compared to them. So we're seeing a Vice and Nero that we've never seen at this fucking stage, basically.
Okay.
But again, context just additional here, not needed, probably not even helpful, but just to give you an idea of where it like comes from. Those characters aren't original. We've seen them before in other Final Fantasy stuff. No fucking idea what they're doing. No idea why they're here. Pretty cool guys though. Very anime.
Okay. So they're not in the OG either. It's just they're in Dirge. Okay.
Yeah. The vast majority of characters that are introduced in it's the compilation of Final Fantasy VII is, by the way, the answer. If you look it up, it has its own Wikipedia page, and it includes, it's before Crisis Final Fantasy VII. That's the one that is the Turks game, and then there's Dirge with Cerberus, Crisis Core, Advent Children, Final Fantasy VII G-Bike. There's oh my god, Shea, it doesn't exist anymore. It's lost media, but there's an old mobile game called Final Fantasy VII G-Bike. Oh my god, we should see if we can pirate that and make you play it. It'll be like a subathon incentive. If we raise chat, if I heard that if we get 5,000 gifted subs on Shea Noel's channel, that she will play Final Fantasy VII G-Bike to completion. All it is racing on bikes and combat. It's very bad.
No, that's awful.
That's right. Don't forget the Battle Royale, which is now not playable. I played quite a bit of it. I think it was the first Soldier, if I want to say. I'm not positive, but that stuff all exists. But yeah, most of the characters are completely brand new. Snowman didn't exist in Final Fantasy VII, and generally
blows my mind.
I know, pretty fleshed out. I feel like he's a really good character for having a 4-hour arc as like a second character. But generally, all of 7 Intergrade is brand new stuff that just kind of intertwines and exists, kind of make Yuffie more important, because in the original game, Yuffie's not very important. She is a character that you can miss. You could go the whole game without playing as Yuffie, and in addition to that, once you get her, she doesn't really do much. She's kind of just along for the ride.
Can you fight with her?
Yeah, she's like in your party and stuff, but like she doesn't have like insightful additions to cutscenes. Nobody kidnaps Yuffie or anything like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like how Aerith is like pivotal to like plot points, or like Barrett has like a fucking Marlene to look out for in the whole 9 yards. Like Yuffie doesn't have really anything like that. It's just very straightforward stuff. And that's the case with other characters too. There's 2 secret characters. You know who the other secret character is? If you had to guess, because do you know the Final Fantasy VII party outside of the 5 that we have right now? We have Cloud, Barrett, Tifa, Aerith, Red 13.
Red 40. Oh.
Red 40, yep. Yuffie.
Well, Yuffie. And I guess that's it.
That's all you know?
As that you can play,
no, you know more. For playable characters.
That you can play?
In the original Final Fantasy VII? There's more. You know a bunch of them. You know a couple. You said one out loud already.
Yes, Sid, I guess.
Okay, Sid.
But I don't know who he is. Like,
yeah.
He has a shtick in the. I don't know.
All right, interesting. But there is another like character that is non-essential, quote unquote, a little more essential than Yuffie, has some plot devices and stuff like that, but again, could completely play the game missing that character and it would not be in it whatsoever, which looks to be rectified in the new series, but we'll see that as it comes. No spoilies. Shea,
have I met them?
Yeah, well,
is it Roche?
It's Roche, yes. It's Roche. You could completely miss Roche. I wish it was Roche.
Oh my god.
That shit is such a funny name. That's very good. Shea, what is your favorite part of Final Fantasy VII Remake? What was your favorite part? And don't say like, I really loved the combat. Like what scene, what moment sticks out to you?
Probably seeing Aerith's house for the first time. Or just any look back at the past. Like, I
Yeah,
just want to know more about these characters and like what they do and why they're there and why
sure.
Cloud is so freaking traumatized,
Why do you
you
think?
know?
What do you think is happening? What do
Well,
you think?
he's a soldier, so
You think they're just
that's
all tapped?
yeah. I mean, have you seen Marco Polo? We were also told that in the DLC. Like, who said that? Mayo told you that the Marco Polo alikes are soldiers that were like used by Shinra and then either didn't make the cut or just got worn out or something.
Mm. Yep.
I don't know, something like
Very
that.
cool. And then what do
But
you
yeah,
think
definitely that.
the
Yes.
overarching story is? What do you think our like goal is? What do you think Sephiroth's up to?
He wants the planet. I think he's a Cetra
Mhm.
because at the end, him and Aerith were like kind of arguing. Not really. She was like, "You're a bad man,"
Yes.
which is
She's right
really
about
funny.
this.
um, I think he's one of those people because he was telling Cloud in a cutscene like, "Oh, this Earth is mine," but I don't know why he has so much beef with Cloud.
Mm.
Like, what did he do? Oh, also, we know that Sephiroth is a soldier from the past. He
Yeah.
was like a great soldier because in that scene with little Tifa and little Cloud, he was like, "I
Right.
hope to be a great soldier." He was a good guy in the beginning, I guess.
Like the great soldier Sephiroth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good eye.
Um,
Memory girl.
so I don't know.
All
Something
right.
about that.
Interesting. So you've
Yeah.
completed Final Fantasy VII Remake. You've completed Final
Mhm.
Fantasy VII Remake episode Intermission. It is January 29th, 2026. What's next for your Final Fantasy journey?
Rebirth.
You're going straight
Yeah.
to Rebirth.
Intermittently, I am a
Right.
variety streamer, so I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
get burnt out by it. I'll probably do like maybe 1 or 2 days a week and then play, I still do new releases. I still want to get ready for Game Awards, still want to have that context for what we're actually voting for.
Yeah,
Um, you know, still want to do demo days, indie days, stuff
I get
like
that.
that. Yeah, I
What
don't want to get burnt out by something I love so much.
what else is on your docket for Final Fantasy? What do you know of? What calls to you now that you're into Final Fantasy VII and you're kind of taking your first foray into like JRPGs? Is there anything that's like calling to you, speaking to you? Do you think you'll hit Final Fantasy X soon? Is it 16 that speaks
Mhm.
to you? Do you think you'll go back and play original 7? Does it look too fucked up?
I think now that I've played Remake and looking into Rebirth and all the other ones, I think 7 OG 7 to play now is just charming when we get to it, if we get to it. So,
Yeah.
definitely want to play it. I do have it. So there's that chance.
Hmm.
I would play 10 because I know 10 is really good. It's a really good story. I also want to play one. I know 10 is turn-based. I want to play a turn-based one and see if I actually like it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
combat is like a huge part of the game. I can't just like patch in mods to anything. Well, you can, but um, yeah, I don't know. I'll try a turn-based and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
probably
think
will
I think
do the
10 is
next.
good. Complete bias, don't take my word
Yeah,
for it, it's my favorite game of all time.
yeah.
10 is great though. I feel like in that, like, if you like Final Fantasy 7 and you like Expedition 33, Final Fantasy 10 is like old, but it's not old enough to look like so fucked that it's intolerable, like you can still tell
Yeah.
what's happening, like there's voiceover and whatnot. It is still such a positive and like moving experience that I truly can't recommend anything else
Mhm.
other than to like hop into that one next. But I also think that some of your other interests as far as like games go, like we didn't bring up Elden Ring a single time or Souls likes. And that's a big part of like the stuff that you've played in the past as well and things that you've enjoyed. You love a good action combat game. And like, 7, like
Mhm.
you were saying, it has some parries and stuff, but it's not like an action game. I think Final Fantasy
Yeah.
16 would be great for you as well.
16. Oh yeah, I would also do 16, yes.
Yeah, it's a little bit more Devil May Cry than it is like Elden
Mhm.
Ring, but yeah. Logan in chat says you are in the Final Fantasy cult now. Good luck getting out. And listen, I urge you to
God.
look for a way out. If you find one, fucking tell me. But if not, may I recommend action figures? because they're treating me
Oh,
great. Maybe you need a little Aerith on that little stand back there. What do you think?
maybe.
We'll think about it. Throne.com/Shea
Oh my God.
_Noel. Shea,
FIFA mascot.
thank you so much for joining me. This is the first ever time. Did you guys know this? Chat listeners, YouTube watchers. This is the first ever time that we've ever had a guest on Drop In, Drop Out as just like the only other person. We've done a couple two host shows where it's like, you know, myself and Patrick or Patrick and Cog or something like that. This is the first time it's ever been just you and I, someone from Dido and someone who's not from Dido. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. It was very nice of you to ask.
Yeah, first on the list, homie. Bad news though. We're gonna need to get you back on here for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then we're gonna need to get you back on here for whatever the next Final Fantasy. What do you think the next Final Fantasy is gonna be called? Final Fantasy Regurgitate?
Oh my God, what did I say? Wait, Rebirth, Remake,
Reincarnate,
Rejected. I think
Yep.
I've told you that one. Reincarnate.
Yep.
They could name it Reunion because everyone's like,
I think
oh,
Reunion is a good one.
But then it's the like other mini subtitle card of another Final Fantasy game. So maybe
Core
not
has
Reunion.
That. Yeah. I am
maybe Rewritten.
Reborn is up there for me, but Rebirth into Reborn is a little bit redundant. Yeah. I think the smart money's on Return. Return. Rebirth, Return. It doesn't have the same ring to it. Remake. Rewind. It doesn't have the same Reunion. Remember? Recon. We'll get there, but you're coming on for that show too. You're on the hook now. You're the Final Fantasy VII, the compilation of Final Fantasy VII representative from outside of the company. And frankly, we need you. Jay, where can the people find you if they love what you're doing? If they love hearing you here?
I stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Shea SHEA _ Noel NOELLE. And I'm everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, all everywhere. Yeah.
Shea like the butter. Homie, I can't thank you enough. Really, really dope. Drop in, drop out listeners, I urge you guys to take a peek at what we're doing this weekend. It's going to be a very fun time. All of the cast is getting together for our big 1-year celebration, playing some games in real life and having an absolute blast. There's some interactive stuff to check out too. We are here every single Thursday night with a new podcast and intermittently throughout the week across different channels. Go to dropindropoutpod.com starting tomorrow, or just find us at dropindropoutpod across the internet as you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I am Jake Twitchin on all platforms myself, if you guys want to watch me streaming most days. But for the next couple, you're going to catch me right here. Shea, wave at the camera. We're going to end this whole thing. Goodbye.